we got it. Thank you for coming on,
Hey,
Jeff.
thanks for having me.
So I finally got a hold of you before he goes off to LA and forgets about all the little people. I was so happy that you finally, because I sent you like 10 messages on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for not thinking I'm a total creeper, but we made it.
We did it. We did it.
How's life after Kevin Hart?
It's good. It's good. You know, it's still working, trying to get into different places and trying to you know, find whether colleges or different clubs. I'm just trying to take, you know, whatever I can to the next level. So I've definitely benefited a lot from it, and I'm happy and grateful for it. Yeah.
How did that work? Like, did you just like, did you text Kevin now? Just like casually? It's like, hey man, so like, what's up? Like, you wanna go out to eat?
No,
wanna perform Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, no, he's at the level of famous where he's put me on 2 television shows, and I'm pretty sure that if he saw me in real life, he probably would forget that he met me. That's what
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I feel like he just meets so many people. Like he interviewed and sat with us and everything, but I mean, like, when he was done, you know, his time is so valuable that as soon as he's done, he's not wondering what the next thing is that he has to do. That was already planned and determined before he even did that thing, you know. So I don't have like a back and forth relationship with Kevin directly, but the people that help put the show together and everything have been very helpful to me after the show, trying to set things up in LA and different places as well. So.
That's LA is the goal. That's where we're moving.
Yeah. That's the next place. That's the.
Oh man.
Then I'll be the little person.
Why not New York?
I don't know. I have more connections with people in LA. I have more friends that already live in LA, and I think just the Michigan weather is like. At some point, it's like, why would I move to a place that's colder? You know,
it's colder than here.
I've already been here for so long, or it's not warmer. It's not.
No, that much is certain. Yeah, I guarantee it's not warmer.
So it's like, I don't know. Like I might, if I'm gonna make a big move, I might as well move to where my friends are. The credits that I have, you know, they're based out of LA. So I felt like it just it'd make the most sense for my career and my sanity. So
yeah, because this Patton Oswalt said, like, when you start to do stand up, it just consumes your life. For the first like 5 years, you don't do anything. Yeah. And then after a while, you're like, oh, I have to live.
Yeah, you gotta walk around. And
like you have to actually meet people and do stuff. Well, it's weird because it's like, it's different from like music in a sense, because if you're a musician, like I just did a podcast with like one of my friends who's like, he's a producer. Okay. And he talked about, like, I was discussing this with him, it's like if you're practicing an instrument, right, you can do that at home by yourself. Yeah, that's true, yeah. And you don't actually need to like have anyone tell you if you're good or bad, because all you gotta do is like go to YouTube and it's like, how do you play this song on the violin? And you'll have a list of videos, people who are like really good at it. Yeah. For comedy, you can't do that. Yeah, and that's always been very interesting to me, because that's true even at the best of best level, and that's something that I think that the average person that doesn't do comedy understands. And that's not something that I probably even thought about until I did comedy, was that it's like, the people, when people see, whether it be a Kevin Hart, you know, special, or even like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, the greatest specials in history, that was a collection of the stuff that didn't bomb. For, you know what I mean? Like, there's hours of shitty jokes that the best comedians of all time have hours of shitty jokes that never worked. For everyone, in order for them to put that together. And I know that some people, I know that as you get older, as you've done it longer, it gets better to determine what's, you know, maybe your, it gets easier to lower the percentage of what, you know, doesn't work. But still, that's there. That's never gonna go away. The ratio of like shitty jokes to good ones just goes down. Now you have more good. It doesn't erase. But no, it never goes away. Because that was the comparison I was making. Like for music, like if you just play it repeatedly, you're like, okay, this sounds better. I like this more, and then you can like just release it. But if you're writing a joke and you're like, okay, this sounds better, I'm just gonna perform it. It might suck. Yeah. And you'll never know if it's good or bad until you get out and get on stage. Yeah, musicians don't need to like see people's head nods. No, they don't. Oh, this is catchy. Like, exactly. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a different
art form in that regard, of that it's reliant on people, but then at the same time you still want to be true to yourself, so you don't want to base it, so it's a mixture of both, because you don't want to do entirely 100% on what the audience likes, because then it's not even you telling jokes, it's just letting them pick your jokes for you. So it's always a weird mixture of like, I want to do what I like, but I want the audience to like it.
To like it, yeah.
And
do you perform at colleges often?
Not often. I've done it. I've done it several times.
Snowflake bitches. You ruined it for all of us. Right.
I've done it a few of them, and I'm getting more into colleges now. But yeah, and I've noticed that. I've noticed that just in college areas too, like
college bars and stuff.
Yeah, not even just at the college, like a comedy club near a college. The people that are college age, it's like they learned how to be a good person. But they didn't experience, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you read about, it's like reading about why racism is wrong at a young age or something, and you haven't met other people, you haven't really learned what it's about yet. So they don't have context for things. So it's like, they
haven't lived enough.
Yeah, so if I just say that black people exist, they're already on edge, because they're like, I heard you're not allowed to make fun of black people, and it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, but
you're not making fun of them.
But just hear the whole joke, and then you'll find what I'm saying is it's fine to acknowledge that other people exist. Like, it's like, but they're so on edge of like not offending that they don't. But I don't think they know why yet. So it gets frustrating working some of those crowds where it's like, there's people that disagree with the jokes that I'm saying, and they're a better audience than some of these people, and I'd probably vote the same way as these kids.
I know.
But they're a harder audience at times.
Well, yeah, they're harder not because they're like higher expectations, but because they're different expectations.
Yeah.
But so my biggest thing is like, if you don't like the jokes a comedian is telling, then don't watch them.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other like comics. It's like, why do you have to go after somebody to like change? I think like what I was like, I did this in a video like a while ago, where it was like the audience should not expect the performer to change their whole performance to match them.
Yeah.
And
they do a lot.
That's not the audience's job to tell a performer how to do his.
Yeah.
That's not the case. So I was like, if you don't like what you're watching on stage or in a movie, watch another movie. Go to a different stage. Like, it's okay. Like, it doesn't offend me. I don't think it offends you either. If someone's like, I don't like that joke. That's okay. You don't have to like everything that we say. Yeah.
It's if you watch a movie, and that's the thing that's different about comedy too, is that each individual part of the set is graded more harsh, I would argue,
than the overall
thing, because you can, as a comedian, we can watch a whole special and just be like, oh, that was great, and we're not going to pick apart each individual joke. But I feel like just the average fan might, but they wouldn't do that for a movie. They would just be like, did you like the movie or not? They're not going to just analyze. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're a film critic. No average moviegoer is going to leave the movie and just be like, yeah, but the 5 minutes up top, blah, 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 was a little unnecessary. And, like, they're not going to pick it apart the way. And I think it's just because we're in the world of where you can leave your thoughts and comments on everything. So people feel like because they can, they should.
They should. Yeah.
So it's like, the amount of times where people have been like, it's not that great. And I'm like, but, so it wasn't that bad either then.
Yeah.
So that means that something that you thought was okay, you left a review saying, this is okay. Like, I've never gone to a restaurant and just been like, this is an average cheeseburger. It's like, what, you know what I mean? Like, to me, in order to be motivated to leave a review, it has to be amazing or really terrible.
Right.
But now people just feel entitled to give their opinion, so you get everything in between too. You get the people that are just like, it was alright, not that bad, not that great. And I'm like, why are you talking then? Why are you even giving your opinion?
Because you're not adding any sort of constructive criticism. Like you've added zero value to the overall show. It's like, okay, so where could I have done better? Just do it better.
Yeah.
No,
and then also, why do you think that you're in the position to give control? You're an audience member.
That goes back to what I was saying.
You're not even a real. You have no idea what's going on. I would never just like go to a sporting event and tell a professional athlete.
Yeah,
or you know what I mean? Or maybe I understand if people are like, oh, these aren't professional. Even at a gym, I wouldn't even go to a gym and watch just a pickup basketball game and be like, you should have passed it to that dude in the corner. I don't know what you were doing. It's like, well, you're not even playing.
It's like, yeah, bro,
you are on the sideline.
Yeah, you weren't playing.
Yeah, this is not.
It's so much easier to like watch like a sporting event or like just watch something as a spectator, like what you said, and then be like, oh, well, he should have done that. But it's like, no, if you're on the field, you don't see that. It's like, no, bro, you got adrenaline running through your body. You're like, no, I gotta get there. How do I get that? Like, you're not seeing a peripheral vision of what the camera is showing. It's like when comedians are on the stage, and it's like, man, like they probably should have like read the audience more. They should have like seen what that guy's like. No, we don't see that. What we see is like the front row. We see that, like, we have our thing we do. Like, we're not gonna change our whole set because these guys didn't care for it. I don't. But what that's actually a good comparison. You don't tell an athlete how to like play a sport, but some people tell comedians, no, this is how you tell that joke. No, that joke wasn't good. Like, get rid of that.
I will listen to people's advice, but I don't understand why. I understand why a comedian would give me advice. I understand because they're doing the same thing. They're looking at it at least from the same perspective as me. So I've never told another comedian like that I don't want to hear their tag, or you have no idea the amount of good advice you can get from anybody. So I'm open-minded enough to understand that regardless of whether you've done comedy 2 times or for 20 years, you still might have a good tag to a joke. But if you're a complete stranger and you've never even done comedy, and so I think the most that I've gone off on an audience member was after a show. There was
you went off on somebody.
There was a monthly showcase that me and my girlfriend Esther, we had a showcase, a Jester comedy show. Okay. And we had it out in Waterford. There was a mix-up on the room.
I like how this is starting.
We were under the impression that there's no issue. This is just the day that we have a once a month show. Okay. But then when we get there, they apologize, saying that we double booked it. There were people that the run through and practicing getting married. It's stupid. If you have to practice it, every marriage they're just like, hey, let's get to these places and do our cues. And I'm like, if you have to practice how to say that you love a person, this is stupid. These are stupid rules. They're silly rules. You shouldn't. It's all insane to me, that aspect of weddings. But they were having. I know there's probably a name for it. I'm sure there's a name for it.
Crazy.
Don't know what it's called, but they're having their practice thing, and
dress rehearsal.
Yeah, dress rehearsal.
Is that what it is? Yeah, okay,
they're having a dress rehearsal, and they were supposed to be at the same time, but they're like, we'll let you have it after the show. So that was they were kind of condescending to us to begin with. They're like, we're gonna let you do your little comedy thing, and but they were audience members at the show, so now they're free audience members in a show where everybody else paid. And they're acting like they were free audience members. So now they're yelling out like, "Oh, that's okay. That one didn't work so well." Like they think that they're like critiquing this, like that was their job. Yeah, they're just being assholes. And there was and then afterwards there was a lady who was talking to me. I was hosting, and there was a lady who came up to me, and I explained to her that I'm like, even the people at the best of the level, like that you see on TV that you think are bad at their job, like Britney Spears, you think she can't sing, but I guarantee she's still better than you, though. You know what I mean? Or I'm like, that's not what you do. You know what I mean? Like like the shittiest professionals are still professionals. They still know more than you do. So even if you see a comedian up there, he's somewhat new and he's doing a guest set on our show, he's usually great. Maybe he had an off night. People all have off nights. And so for this lady to just be like, no, but I had to let him know that wasn't. I'm like, no, you didn't have to.
No, you didn't have to.
He's better than, even if he goes up and he does terrible for 7 minutes, you would do way more terrible. So your advice means nothing to him. You're just a lady who bought a few beers and
lost all filters
and lost all. That's it. Like you're not. And yeah, I just went off tour after the show.
Are you alright?
I was like, Britney Spears is a better singer than you. I don't care if you think she's terrible. I was like, Nickelback can write a better song than you. You don't have the right to critique things that you don't fucking do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to cook that good. I'm never gonna tell a fucking chef how to cook some shit because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah.
Holy crap.
End of rant.
That like brought some like emotions back up there. I've never had that happen.
Oh, yeah.
I've only happened like, so I performed like, I'm not gonna say the bar, but it was like a bar by Michigan State. And usually they're really chill about it because like if you advertise comedy night, like when you're performing for like a comedy club or for like a comedy night at a bar, that's different than performing at like a open mic night where you have like singers, rappers, like poetry. Like when you have like a very open mic or just like a comedy open mic, your audiences are gonna be different. And when I went to like the most open mic possible. Like they had people they're like singing, they had dancing, they had like poetry. It was anything you wanted on stage, like magic tricks. And I told
magic tricks.
They had everything on the stage that night.
Really?
And I was like, okay, this was before I knew better. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna perform on this night. And this was a few years ago, and I told some joke that like I later on figured out that like a bunch of comedians have already used this thing, but at the time I didn't know. And it was a joke about Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
And I was like, how did Caitlyn Jenner win Woman of the Year? She wasn't even a woman for the whole year.
Yeah. You don't know what hack is until you start and you hear other people doing the same thing.
Yeah,
we're all new. We all start from
because when I said
place.
that, I didn't know that like a bunch of other people have already done that joke. And then I was like, oh. And then like when I got back off the stage, the whole crowd, they're like, you cheat. Like, you son of a bitch, you stole that. Why would you, like, I'm like, what are you talking about?
People really do go a little too hard on that, in my opinion, where it's like, there's a difference between, there's a difference between somebody watched your set, they did that same joke the next day, and then just, this is a thing in the news, people are gonna have parallel thought.
Yeah.
You're not the only person that has eyes and ears that has an internet connection. You know what I mean? Like, but everybody gets a little bit too angry at like stolen jokes because they don't realize that sometimes it's just universal parallel thinking. You know, and it's not this harsh, you know, going out there type of a thing. I've had people. There's a joke that. And then also people at home that aren't comedians, they don't know that just some famous comedian might have a premise.
Yeah,
but that's different than the same joke. Like that joke that you just said about Caitlyn Jenner, other people might have done, but that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to even mention Caitlyn Jenner. Like, no, you can still, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I've had jokes
I didn't know that this was used, like, because this was, like, when that first happened.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, I didn't see any other, like, comedians have like specials come out with that joke, or I didn't know that other comedians are doing it until like some guys like, no, this video on Instagram Joe Rogan did. I was like, I didn't see that video.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like, my bad. Shit.
Yeah, it's never gonna go away. I every so often I still have jokes where I'm like, I'm watching specials and I'm like, oh well, apparently Tom Segura does one of my whatever jokes, and I'm like, all right, well. He's Tom Segura and I'm not, so what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like that's, you know. But I'm sure there's people that could see me doing the joke and think oh, that's Tom Segura's joke, and I'm like, I've been doing it for years. It's just he did his on TV, but you know. Now I know that it's like, now I'm just gonna probably not do it. You know, like it's you know, there's so you can talk about the same like subjects, right? But there's no limit to like creativity, I guess. So it's like whenever. I have genuinely had people come up to me like after a show, and why? I don't know, but I have been told I should not make fun of Indian people. And I was like, bruh, that's my family, that's me. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, no, but that means like you hate yourself. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't hate myself. People say it to me all the time. People think that I hate white people because I will do jokes.
That makes no sense.
Making fun of, but I'm not making fun of white people. I am making fun of bad parts of like white. You know what I mean? I'm just like
there's no perfect anything.
There's no perfect anything. So if I make fun of racist people, and in the story is racist white people, I don't want to read comments of people that are like, he hates himself.
Yeah.
He blah 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 blah. Like they're just like they're so dramatic with it. It's like nothing. People get too attached to what they accidentally were born as.
Yeah,
or it's like
I chose to like.
It's not like I picked this team and then I took, it's not like I asked to be traded to this team and then I just took a shit on all my teammates and was like, fuck you. Like, no, it's like this is I was drafted to this team and I'm gonna I have an opinion on other people on the team. It's like that's fine. I don't know. People get way too bent out of shape. The fact that people get mad at you about that.
Yeah.
People will say that.
Like once in a while, someone just come up after the show and they're like, "Do you hate yourself?" And I was like, "No, why?" And it's like, "Well, why do you make fun of Indians so much?" I'm like, "Because that's what I know."
Yeah.
Like I grew up and I was raised in a culture like that. I can talk about that more than white people because I grew up Indian. I know what it's like to make fun of them.
And if you were to make fun of white people, then people would be like, dude, you're not even white. Why are you making fun of white people so much? You're never going to make anybody happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to make everybody happy. So, yeah. And I need to realize that. I could have a video with hundreds of positive comments and then be like, see that negative comment, and then I'll just be talking to my girlfriend Esther. I was just talking to her. And then she's like, yeah, why don't you just ignore it? There's all the nice things that people said. And I'm like, yeah, but fuck that guy, though.
Yeah, but Peanuts, that bastard Peanut. Okay, so what's the next step? Like, we're almost out of time here. What's the next step after LA? Like, what do you want to do? Like, because you filmed your first special, right? So do you want to go into movies? Like, we're filming, what do you want to do?
I'm open for anything. Well, I've tried to be open to other things other than just stand-up. I've started to get a little bit more. I haven't done it in a while, but I tried to expand my horizons with like improv, and I've been writing a lot more for like trying to learn how to write a show, write sketches and things of that nature. So I want to get into voiceover work. So I want to be open for everything. I understand that stand-up can't be everyone's only means of being entertainment. Towards that, yeah. And so I'm definitely open and trying to put my foot in into other areas, and and I'm open for acting and stuff too. So I'm just gonna try to go to LA and do as much as I can, and be as flexible with it. You see so many podcasts or hear so many interviews of so many like famous comedians that like they're like, oh yeah, I had no idea that I was gonna get involved in whatever, and so. I definitely don't want to be the person who's too stubborn to see an opportunity and be like, well, that's not exactly what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
So, I'll try to take it as it comes.
Hopefully you can see him in LA in a bunch of Hollywood movies. Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah.
All right, guys. Stay fresh, stay golden.